possibilities are immense, right? So just embrace them out, right? Stay up to date and try to kind of venture in the direction of your dream.
Being relevant.
Technology will touch everyone's life, every moment, right? So just be part of it, enjoy it.
The ability to unlearn and learn, I think that's a skill you need to take.
Go with the trends, whatever technology is coming, just have a foundation knowledge so you at least can participate by understanding the technology. Keep it up.
Be curious and embrace the change.
Continuous learning is the key, and technology is an enabler, so don't get afraid of it.
Those women who don't want to go deep into any technology, even if you want to take non-technology roles, whether it is HR, finance, I think it's very important for them to learn how to use these technologies to be a lot more productive. I think that is important. So, because technology is pervaded pretty much every part of our lives, so learn how to use it to your benefit.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I hope you all are able to hear me. Thank you so much for joining in today. And it's my pleasure to welcome you all to this exciting and insightful panel discussion that we will be holding today. It is on emerging technologies and how one can advance their career using these technologies. And my name is Roy, and I'm the Deputy Director and Head of Diversity and Inclusion at Nasscom Foundation. And today we will delve into the pivotal roles of 7 transformative technologies that are shaping the future of industries worldwide. These technologies are at the core of the Nasscom Women Wizards Rule Tech program. So as business continue to evolve in digital era, mastering these technologies is no longer optional. It is essential. The knowledge and skills acquired in these domains can drive professional growth, enhance business competitiveness, and open up a wealth of transformative opportunities for individuals and organizations alike. Today, our distinguished panel of industry leaders will provide valuable insights into how these technologies are being implemented across various sectors, the impact they are having on business landscapes, and how professionals can leverage from their career advancement. Additionally, we will also explore the curriculum of the Nasscom WWRT program, ensuring that participants gain a clear understanding of most relevant and in-demand skills they need to stay ahead. So in the conversations ahead today, I will be sharing a little about what this Nasscom WWRT program also means. But in the meanwhile, I would also like to take this opportunity to introduce some of our distinguished speakers. Himani, if you can go to the next slide. And all of our speakers are focused on 7 emerging technologies. We have 7 different experts for the most in-demand technologies that you would have seen on the screen just before. So to start off with, I would like to welcome Sudha Joshi, who's a lead cloud solutions architect at Accenture. Sudha comes with 23 years of experience in designing, developing, and managing large-scale data-centric enterprise solutions for Fortune 500 companies. Her expertise spans cloud technology, architecture, virtualization, enterprise applications consolidation, modernization, and extensive cloud transformation initiatives. And Sudha is also a mentor on the Nasscom WWRT program, and she would be an expert on cloud computing today. Next, we have, and Sudha, welcome to the panel. Next, we have Sandeep Kumar Singh, who's a Director, Application and Product Security at FactSet. Sandeep comes with 19 plus years in secure development cycle and security automation. Sandeep leads product and application security at FactSet. He's certified in GIAC, GCSA, CCSK, CEH, and CompTIA Security Plus, and he has contributed to 97 things every application security professional should know. He served on the government juries, published cybersecurity papers, and reported vulnerabilities. And he is our expert on cybersecurity on this conversation and on the program. So welcome to the panel, Sandeep. Next, we have Shailesh Agaskar. Shailesh is a senior enterprise solutions architect at Capgemini. He comes with over 24 years of experience. Shailesh leads the cloud native, hyperscale and Gen AI capability in India for cloud and custom applications practice, driving enterprise transformation. His expertise spans AI, ML, blockchain, IoT, microservices, DevOps, and more. And Shailesh is our blockchain expert on the program. So welcome to the panel, Shailesh. Next, we have Roopa Mahishi, who's Associate Director with GSK. Roopa is a AI ML architect at GSK Bangalore. With over 20 years of experience, she specializes in Gen AI solutioning, AI governance, and digital twin, and has developed skilled cloud-based analytic solutions from platforms like Azure, AWS, GCP, with experience at leading companies such as Amazon, DXC Technologies, and Philips Semiconductors. And Roopa is an expert at artificial intelligence on this conversation and as well as the program. And also a special mention to Roopa, she's also an alumnus of the Nasscom WWRT program 2 years back. She was a participant and she's come back to us as a mentor on this program. So welcome to the panel, Roopa. Next, we have Vivek Shah, who's a vice president at Goldman Sachs. Vivek has over 16 years of experience in financial tech industry with a focus on data. He's currently the vice president at Goldman Sachs in the asset and wealth management business. He's extremely passionate about education, equity, and gender diversity. And he also loves music, enjoying cultures, food, and architecture. And Vivek is our expert on big data analytics on the program and on this conversation. And Vivek has been with us for a long time on the program. So welcome to the panel, Vivek.
Thank you.
And it's my pleasure to introduce Sunil David, who is one of the moderators for the conversation today. Sunil is a digital technology consultant. He's an consultant with over 30 years in IT and telecom. He advises Frost Sullivan India in manufacturing and process control and helps Flamenco Technologies with go-to-market strategies. Formerly regional director of IoT at AT&T India. Sunil is a mentor at T-Hub and a frequent speaker on the IoT, AI, 5G, and digital transformation. Welcome to the panel, Sunil. And next we have Surya Prakash, who's a senior vice president at TestYantra Software Solutions Private Limited. He's also one of the moderators on the conversations today. Sunil has over 26 years of experience in software industry, currently serving as a senior vice president, heading testing services at TestYantra Software Solutions Private Limited. His expertise spans big data, RPA, and performance testing, and have led several transformation programs for various clients. And he specializes on big data analytics on the program and on this conversation. So welcome all the speakers, and it's such a pleasure to have you all. And this is a long pending conversation that we've been wanting to do. For various reasons. One is, for everybody who's joined today is to make informative decisions about, what these technologies would add value to them in their future and what the future of work looks like and how to apply these technologies in real life. So we'll sort of deep dive into all of these conversations. We have some of the top tech experts, and we would also be taking questions from the participants. So we have the Q&A section on the Zoom. So I would request all of you to put in your questions there. We will be picking up the questions in the end. And this is going to be a 90 minutes intense conversation. We will go technology from technology. So I would say enjoy the ride for the next 90 minutes. And with that, I'll hand it over to Surya. Over to you, Surya.
Thanks a lot, Roy, for the introduction. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to WWRT program that's sponsored by the Nasscom Foundation. I think before we get on to the technical part of it, right, I would like to ask a few questions to you, Roy. Can you briefly outline, right, how does this entire program prepares the participants for their career success in some of these transformative technologies, right? but I'll probably get back to those technologies later. But how can they get onto this particular program, and what is the outline of this?
Yeah, so it's a very interestingly designed program, Surya. So now we work on a model of various mentors like you coming and being able to upskill. We have a very clear structure, a very clear curriculum. And like I also mentioned previously, regardless of the hierarchy, regardless of what role you do, whether you're in tech, you're in non-tech, you have 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years of experience, really doesn't matter. And the whole idea is for us to start from the inception of the technology, make these participants, complete the foundation, move to intermediate, and then advanced. It's a 1-year program, right? And the kind of interventions we have it's completely virtual in nature. There's a phase in which we are able to get statement of purposes from the participants to understand where they stand, what is their understanding of the technology. And basis that there is a background, at the background, we do, a mentor-mentee mapping so that we're able to assign the right expertise of the mentor and the mentee, and then they sort of delve into series of deep and group mentoring sessions, right? And spans over a period of 1 year. Right now, the participant can, it's very flexible in a way that one can come into the program, just understand the foundation of it and drop out in 4 months, or continue for the next, 8 months after. And people who are already techies can sort of come in at the advanced level, which is after the 4 months, and then be able to pick up from there and advance, their skills. And it's also that, we understand while the technology is growing, everything, is very dependent on technology. So you can only imagine a lot of people leaders for decades have been managing people in non-tech roles. And it's also a time where, one has to switch to or advance in technology and then being able to manage big business units, which are run by, or which is predominantly operated by techies, right? So in situations like that, we have very senior leaders trying to join these programs to understand the inception to the intermediate to advancement of this technology. And it's also a fact that how a lot of the top tech experts come and they're able to break down technology and speak about it in simple language. So regardless of what kind of job role you come from, you're able to pick up and understand technology, right? And another thing that I would like to emphasize is on the cross-collaborative learning. Now, for example, Sunil David is one of the mentors in IoT. He is into the telecom sector. But however, we also have IoT experts who work in fintech and all the other sectors. And the amount of cross-collaborative ideas and learnings that you get from mentors like yourselves, I think that's the advantage. And that's where participants find value in it. And that's where they also grow. And the statistics very clearly says, right, over 60% of them have grown into next job role or taken up bigger tech roles. And that's clearly, I think for us, it's a success story. It's a very clear indication that the program is working, it is helping, and which is why more organizations come back and be a part of these initiatives.
Yeah, that's really impressive, Roy. I think good to see that the numbers actually speaks for themselves on what you just said, right? We'll probably get onto the technical part of it now, right? Thanks a lot for answering some of the queries. We might get back to you later in the live Q&A session.
Absolutely. So I think I'll leave this to you. I think it's going to be interesting. More people would be interested to know how these technologies work. So yeah. I think the next 90 minutes is that. So over to you, Surya.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, thanks, Roy, for setting the context and talking about the WWRT initiative and how it is really helping women in their digital skilling initiatives. Let's talk about the 7 technologies now, and let's start with the AI, and for which I would request Roopa. I wanted to ask you, can you share, given that AI is a cornerstone for many industries, how AI is really driving innovation in various industry sectors, including pharmaceutical sector, which you represent, Roopa?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Sunil, for the question. It's a pleasure to be here to discuss the transformative impact of the AI across the different industries. To get started off with, let me share a couple of examples where AI is driving significant innovation and highlight the power of AI. Imagine that you're shopping online and you're not sure what to get. But as you browse, the website starts suggesting different items that perfectly match your interests. So this isn't magic. It's actually AI at work. AI algorithms analyze your browsing history, preferences, and even your likes and dislikes to recommend the perfect gift. This makes your shopping experience very enjoyable and stress-free. Another exciting innovation is in the inventory management, wherein it helps retailers predict demand and optimize the stock levels by analyzing the sales data and trends. This ensures that the right products are available at the right time, reducing the wastage and preventing the stockouts. As a result, customers can always find what they are looking for and retailers operate more efficiently. So these examples just highlight how AI is enhancing the retail experience for both the customers and the businesses. Let me try explaining how AI is driving innovation in the other sectors. Coming to AI in the finance, the main thing is AI systems monitor the transaction patterns to detect and prevent the fraudulent activities in real time. AI algorithms can identify the unusual patterns and flag potential fraud, reducing the financial losses. This has increased trust amongst the customers as well as the financial institutions. Now, coming from the pharma field, AI is being widely used in healthcare. Let me just give an example on how it is being used in the image analysis, enhancing the diagnostic accuracy. In radiology, AI is revolutionizing the way medical images are analyzed, leading to happier outcomes for both the patients and the healthcare providers. So AI algorithms process these medical images like the X-rays and MRIs, identify the patterns and anomalies that indicate diseases such as cancer. These algorithms can detect even the smallest abnormalities that might be missed by the human eye, providing a second opinion to the radiologist. AI systems can analyze these images much faster than the humans, significantly reducing the time that is needed for the diagnosis and allowing for the quicker treatment decisions. So the real world impact that we see are in the improved accuracy. So studies have shown that AI can match or even surpass the human radiologist in detecting certain conditions, leading to more accurate diagnosis. It has reduced the workload of the radiologists in the radiology department, and now they can focus more on the complex cases. It has also helped in early and accurate detection of the diseases that can lead to better patient outcomes as treatments can be done or started sooner. AI is being used in the manufacturing as well. It helps in reducing the downtime when we use it in the predictive maintenance. AI predicts the equipment failures before they actually occur by analyzing the data from the machinery. So by preventing these breakdowns, companies save on the repair costs and avoid the production delays. AI is being used in the transportation and is revolutionizing mobility. So we have seen autonomous vehicles. So self-driving cars use AI and they help in navigating and make the real-time decisions. The impact has been like the autonomous vehicles, they reduce the risk of accidents that are caused by the human error. And also the AI-driven cars provide mobility solutions for those who are unable to drive, such as the elderly and the disabled people. Now, coming to AI, it's being used even in the agriculture one. It has helped in optimizing the crop yields. It's being used in the precision farming. So AI analyzes soil and weather data and optimizes the planting and harvesting schedules. So by precision farming techniques, they help in better crop yields and more efficient use of the resources. AI has helped farmers adopt sustainable practices, reducing the environmental impact. AI is also being used in energy and is improving the efficiency. Example is in the smart grids. AI optimizes energy distribution by predicting demand and managing the supply. This has helped in minimizing the waste by balancing supply and demand more efficiently. So as a result, these are some of the examples that illustrate how AI is driving innovation across different industries, making processes more efficient, improving the customer experiences, and enabling the new possibilities. So as AI technology continues this transformation, we can expect even more transformative changes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Roopa, for sharing those examples across sectors. So the opportunity is really huge, right? And the adoption right now in India is very low. And hence there's a definite demand for a lot more professionals in the AI space. So my next question to you is if you can very briefly share, what are those essential skills for professionals wanting to excel in the AI and ML industry? Roopa, if you can briefly share, that would be great.
Yeah. So as you rightly said, the AI/ML continues to transform the industries. So the demand for the skilled professionals in these fields is growing very rapidly. So one needs to have a right mix of technical, soft skills, as well as the domain knowledge to excel in any of the AI/ML role. So the core skills for any of the AI/ML professionals that I think are necessary are the programming skills and mathematics and statistics. So in coming to the programming skills, I would say Python, R, Java, and JavaScript, as programming is the backbone of any of the AI project. So proficiency in any of these languages allows the professionals to implement complex algorithms, process the data efficiently, and automate the tasks. Similarly, like a strong foundation in mathematics and statistics is crucial for understanding and developing the ML algorithms. Along with these core skills, one can perform different roles within the AI/ML landscape. For example, we have a data engineer role, wherein the expertise in the ETL process and building the data pipelines, knowledge of big data technologies, and proficiency in the programming language is needed. Similarly, for the data scientist role, where the role needs you to analyze large data sets, extract the insights, and build the predictive models. The statistical methods and machine learning techniques are needed to solve the business problems. So over here, machine learning algorithms like the supervised, unsupervised, or the reinforcement learning programs, then data processing, programming language, and the proficiency in ML frameworks like the TensorFlow or the Scikit toolkit is necessary. Then we have the AI/ML engineer, then the AI/ML architect, who architects, design, and oversees the implementation of the AI systems. They ensure that the AI solutions are scalable, efficient, and aligned with the business objectives. We also have roles for the product manager, then the ethics specialist, and the AI consultant. Then along with that, we have the NLP engineer and the computer vision engineer. So these roles and skills, they collectively form the foundation for the successful career in AI/ML. So as field continuously evolves, one also needs to stay updated with the latest advancements in technology and methodologies. So I would say continuous learning through the courses, certifications, and attending conferences is very essential for the career growth. So by developing these skills, professionals can excel in their respective roles and contribute to the innovative projects across various industries. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Roopa. I think very good point that you mentioned. Continuous learning. One has to always be on that lifelong learning journey. So thank you, especially when you look at a technology like AI, which is evolving at such a rapid pace. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think Sunil, Roopa. Now I want to get on to the next most very important topic like AI is on the cybersecurity. And I would like to ask a few questions to Sandeep, right? Sandeep, my first question for you is, we are seeing a lot of incidents today with respect to the cybersecurity, right? And with the increasing sophistication of the cyber threats, what are the trends that you are seeing which will shape the future of the cybersecurity?
Thanks a lot, Surya, for the question, and happy to be here as part of the panel. To all the participants, the trends that are going to evolve, right? I'll take you from what Roopa was speaking, right? Gen AI and LLM, right? That becomes an area that is coming everywhere, and so is for cybersecurity as well, right? The challenge with introduction of Gen AI and LLM to cybersecurity kind of a domain, it is like a two-edged sword as well, right? It has its own pros and cons. Even the bad people are starting to utilize AI capability to do things quickly, to see what is going to really work out when they're trying to launch a breach or an attack, how to create a sophisticated phishing attack that is hard to detect. So the first trend would be kind of utilization of Gen AI and LLM to develop solutions that are resistant to the attack that the bad people are creating using the same Gen AI, right? So it's more of a evolvement in that direction. I foresee that future would be largely focused on that area, primarily because for any of the assessment that we do, where there is a vast amount of data, where analysts are required to analyze that out, that can be done quickly, right? And based on the behavioral aspects, when we utilize machine learning, it would be easy to detect any anomaly that is happening, right? So those are the two key aspects from the latest advent of the technology. Other areas that I'll say that that will kind of mature further is zero trust model. Verify everything. Do not trust at any time. At any point in time, try to refute any request that is coming and try to re-authenticate as much as possible whenever there is a trust kind of a validation that is taking place. So zero trust model is going to be embraced further to ensure that the bad actors or the bad players are not able to infiltrate or to be successful in their goals. The third thing that I'd like to share would be the ransomware evolvement, right? So that has been evolving, right? There would be more threats and attacks that would be coming in that area. So we need to be kind of focusing in evolving the solutions and protection measures to ensure that that's not going to be successful. We have been hearing about the quantum computing, right? And they have the capability to break the cryptography algorithm that we are using. So future would be focusing on embracing the quantum resistant algorithms that are there, right? Down the line, the whole cryptography that we're using today, using a quantum computing, could be completely broken. So that becomes another aspect where the trend is heading to. And I'll request people to focus on that area as well. When you are embracing cybersecurity as a career, try to learn on these aspects that we are seeing. The last one that I'd like to highlight is supply chain attacks, right? SolarWinds attack happened because there was a problem with the whole supply chain model they were using. They were having several vendors from where somebody could infiltrate, and finally that led to a massive breach across the government organizations, right, in US. So that becomes the fifth aspect that I would like to highlight. The most important aspect, independent of all that we discussed, is the human intelligence, right? So we as a human, be it on the technology side or non-technology side, we become the weakest link in the whole cybersecurity chain. So we have to evolve, and driving maturity and user awareness is a key aspect to prevent bad players in being successful in their operations that they are planning to do. Of late, all of us would have received certain calls which are trying to scam us. It could be a courier scam. It could be a call from like some police department. It could be a scam stating that your SIM card is going to get deactivated, right? A lot of people fall prey to that. If you're continuously getting those calls, that means that it is, even though it is not working for us or for you, but it would be working for a lot of people. And that's why they're trying so hard to reach out to so many people. They do not bother to do a background check also to see whether this professional will really fall prey to that or not. But with AI and all coming, they will have all the data, they will analyze that out quickly and identify the potential candidates, and they will increase their hit rate. So how can we catch up with that? The only way is improving the awareness and maturity across the people, citizens, and bringing in more technology experts on the cybersecurity area.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Sandeep, for talking about the trends, right? And I'm sure many who are there as a participant today probably want to know, right, what is the kind of a foundation? How can they build a strong foundation, right, in cybersecurity as part of this program? Like, how can they get started with this?
Awesome. So that's a good question, and that comes as part of all the interaction, all the sessions that I've conducted as part of the WWRT program, right? So cybersecurity is an ever evolving domain, right? You have to continuously brace up for learning here. It's more like a test match. It's not a T20 game, right? Cybersecurity has existed since years, and it is still evolving. And even after being so popular across the industry, we still see a dearth of cybersecurity professionals, right? We are still trying to bridge that gap, right? To have ample amount of cybersecurity professionals, be it in the government organizations, be it in the private organizations, right? And even whatever professionals are established today, they have to continuously keep learning about the new evolving areas that are coming as part of the cybersecurity. Now, how can you build your career in the cybersecurity space? First thing first would be make sure that your fundamentals are strong, right? Try to start with, say, CIA, confidentiality, integrity, availability, embrace that wholeheartedly. Make sure that you do not have any iota of doubt in the fundamental principles, be it a principle of least privilege. So all those areas should be clear completely, that you understand them well. The next thing would be try to develop hands-on skills, right? Cybersecurity domain is not that complex when it comes to learning opportunity, where people are aware that what all avenues I have where I can go ahead and learn about, right? So there are a lot of hands-on labs that are freely available. If you want to learn about about the web security, you can go to OWASP website, download some of the free hacking labs, spin up the VMs, create a network of machine, and start learning those aspects, right? So that's at your disposal. So you can very well do that out. So learning is easy. Even rewards are easy. If you develop your skills, you can go and participate in bug bounty programs, right? And that's pretty much rewarding. And not just rewarding, you can build your profile as well. The moment you identify a vulnerability in an external company, you can put that in your resume, right? That you are able to identify that out. You can create your professional career around bug bounty itself. So that also there are a lot of independent people who just work on bug bounties or work as an independent researcher, right? So that becomes the third step that I'll say, right? Now, the other aspect where people kind of get stuck, that they are already working in a role as part of their organization. So if you're working in a technical role, it becomes a lot easier to venture into the cybersecurity direction, right? Whatever technical role you're working in, be it on a quality assurance side, be it on the development side, or be it on the DevOps side, all of them have subtle cybersecurity requirements, right? As a quality assurance person, you can start focusing on identifying security issues or security vulnerability. As a developer, you can start understanding what are the secure coding practices. That should be your introduction to the practical aspects of cybersecurity. As a DevOps person, you can understand the different configurations and how does it imply when you lower a level or when you set configuration to certain level, how does it strengthen the security of the given infrastructure or the network that you are configuring. So taking that interest will bring you close to cybersecurity, right? And then start talking to your cybersecurity team within your organization. Try to learn from them. And once you have that rapport built up, check with them whenever there is an opportunity, try to kind of go in that direction. So that becomes a pathway for people to go in that direction. Now, if you are,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Sandeep. I think
Yeah.
talking about trends and also how the participant get started. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Surya.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks. So let's move from cybersecurity to cloud now. And Sudha, welcome to the panel. And cloud is always going to be a very critical component of any digital transformation solution. So Sudha, can you briefly share what are the current trends that we are seeing when it comes to cloud? And what are those challenges that enterprises encounter when it comes to adopting cloud, Sudha?
Sure. Thank you, Sunil, and welcome everyone. Good morning to everyone. And I'm happy and excited to being part of this panel. So cloud. So when I talk about cloud, so I'm sure everyone would be knowing what is cloud. It's something, the service you can access over the internet. So now cloud is a default platform for all the emerging technology, which we are covering in this webinar. So being it's cybersecurity, IoT, artificial intelligence, or itself a cloud computing. So it's a default platform for all emerging technologies. Being to go to platform, all the IT leaders driving digital transformation. It supports emerging technology like GenAI, composable application like microservices, and reducing the carbon footprint. This is the initiative by the cloud providers itself. So cloud computing is a must for capitalization on emerging technologies, trends, and a key driver for tech innovation. It's a rapidly becoming an essential part of transformation. So organization, those don't embrace the shift, they are at the risk of the falling behind. So that's the must one. So in response to inevitable mass shift to the cloud, the fastest growing IT market is the cloud industry. So organizations use cloud computing to support their mainstream applications, digital transformation, IT modernization, business outcomes driven by the digital transformation. So many modernization business adopt cloud technology principles as their preferred style of operations. So to tap the full value of the cloud, organizations are investing into the value in the cloud native applications, operating models, architecture, and using the cloud-based, making the cloud-based decision, application modernization initiatives like working in the legacy mode or the legacy application, like we were on the mainframe in the back era and now we are on the microservices. So those are the things organizations are doing, and the IT organizations are helping the other customer, other industries to do the same. So cloud influenced the IT operating model as well. So there are shift in the operating model, the way we're operating it with the legacy and with the new technology, pay as you go, or the rapid on demand kind of work culture. So despite its maturity, cloud computing remains to be on a key essential of all the technology. I would say it's a salt and sugar for all the recipe which are emerging as a Gen AI or whatever technology is coming like LLM or FM in the industry. So it is going to be salt and pepper for that. So now, if we talk about the emerging trend for cloud computing for 2025, it's going to remain more sustained. So first thing being a hybrid. So while we are at a system when we are half of the era, like financial healthcare institution are still on the private cloud. They have those mainframe application, having those data sensitive storing at their sites, and utilizing the cloud values like scalability, agility, resilience, high availability. So there is a hybrid cloud where some organizations are still utilizing their data residing on the old legacy computing and utilizing the advantage of public cloud being on any other cloud provider. So that's one key thing that's going to be enhanced in 2025 to leverage the cloud, and they would focus on the how they can modernize their legacy system or integrate to have a full value of having those years of data and utilizing this new trend. So that's the one thing. Another aspects of having multiple cloud providers like AWS, Azure, and Google. Some are best in the IaaS, one kind of services. Some providers are best in the other business applications. So how we can use the best out of them. So that's where we come to the multi-cloud strategy. So we can use multi-cloud strategy while being a vendor agnostic. We are not going and stick with one of the cloud provider, using all of them and using the best of them. So that's the another trend we are going to have it. The third one is a serverless architecture. So we know that in previous era, there was a time you need a server, there's a capacity planning, then you go to procurement, there is a run, there is a PO raise, there is a vendor finalization. It takes almost 6 months to get a new servers and run the program. So it's gone are the days. We don't need even server now to run any application or testing anything. You can just go on the serverless architecture, use any of the cloud provider, run your application, run your codes, and you are done. So that's the way we are going ahead. Then there is edge computing. So edge computing is real-time processing data. So as we know, data center may be far away, even though we are using cloud computing. How we can leverage it real-time data when it comes to the streaming or like trading people are doing or gamings. So we can store the data near to the consumers, and that's where we use the edge computing. That is also part of cloud computing. Then we have artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is new, very trending thing. Everyone is trying to adopt it, and we understand there are challenges as well. But where are we? What are the consumers or what are the companies who are offering it? It's a cloud providers. NVIDIA is coming up as a great producer. But yes, there are the cloud offers. It's also increased the scope of cloud computing, and the trends are also going to use Gen AI over the cloud computing. The next is the security, as our friend was talking about. So yes, we can use the cloud computing, design a zero trust architecture, and we can implement this. We can reduce the security threats by using some of the cloud services like WAF and other aspects. Then we have the sustainability or carbon reduction. So some of the cloud providers like Google, they have a carbon neutral. So if we are adopting cloud computing, we are offering a cloud neutral, zero carbon footprint to our customers. So that's the way we are helping a sustainable environment. So yeah, I'll end up in the cloud trends considering the time.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I think good that you called out so many of those trends. And I think it's fair to say today in India, cloud adoption is still very low. There's a massive opportunity. Given that there's this massive opportunity, how do professionals or the program prepares to people who are part of this curriculum to really enhance their learning in cloud and to be really successful in the field of cloud computing, Sudha?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. So cloud computing is a must need to run any organization or business operation. So you should not be very well versed with the coding, low code, no code, or anything or DevOps. You just go and get familiar with the cloud terminology. There are foundation courses provided free of cost by all the cloud providers. So I would recommend all the program managers, non-technical roles, sales, and the service, go through with those foundation course. You will learn the terminology, how it can impact your business. So it's not very technical, no hands-on. You just go and learn these things. You will know where you can apply your knowledge or where you can fit in those services in your industry to get useful and get the fully benefit of cloud computing. So that's the one way of learning. Yes, webinars, as our friends mentioned, continuous learnings, try to get hold on the webinars. The tech invent by this AWS, Azure, and Google, they are always throwing their web launch, and there is a reinvent. They have some sessions. Try to join them physically or virtually, whatever is feasible for you. That gives some good knowledge. Instead of going through a course, you just, this 3-4 hours webinars bring you up to the speed of the technology. Plus, this course also helps a lot. So where we give the personal mentoring, there are session, we work with the close mentoring, we give the project. So this is also the way of learning.
Thanks. And just to add to what you mentioned, Sudha, there are a lot of physical events also happening, which focused on cloud. AWS keeps having their annual cloud summit. Oracle just had one recently in Mumbai. So I think it's good for the participants to join these physical events to learn more, connect with their peers and others.
Yeah, because that's a very focused learning. Otherwise, we browse and we reach here and there on the internet.
Thank you. Thank you, Sudha, for sharing.
Thanks a lot, Sudha. Sunil. I think my next panel is actually the blockchain. Again, because I keep thinking about blockchain means it's all about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I would like to probably ask Shailesh, who is an expert in blockchain, an expert panel in blockchain today. Blockchain is often associated, Shailesh, with cryptocurrencies, more on the fintech industry, right? Do you see, is there any usage of blockchain for the applications beyond this fintech? Can you please share some case studies outside this entire finance domain?
So first of all, Surya, thanks. It's a pleasure to be part of this particular, esteemed panel, and the audience is willing to kind of hear us, etc. And good morning and good afternoon to everyone. So very interesting and very important question, because this is something that I've been asked multiple times, that whenever you talk about blockchain, it is always related to cryptocurrency, fintech, and so on and so forth. But we have moved, if you compare it today, we have moved away from just focusing on cryptocurrency and bitcoins, etc. Right? Blockchain, as it started, and I've been mentor and I've been running some of these sessions with most of my clients, etc. And also talking to some of the colleges over there. And one of the fundamental things is that it started. It's a technology which goes back into how you structure your data, right? How you keep the data intact and ensure that the data is not changeable at whims and fancies of people. Yeah. So you don't, today you made one transaction of your, you paid somebody some amount, say, while you were doing some transaction on e-commerce. So you paid that 500 rupees to buy a t-shirt on, say, Amazon or whatever it is. And then suddenly you want to kind of you say, okay, I want to return it back or something like that. You can't allow that transaction to be reversed without consent of all the parties who were involved in that transaction, right? And the same thing happens, so that again becomes a financial one. So how do you trace it? How do you mandate it? So that's where it comes to the immutable or the unchangeable nature of the business part of it, the data part of it. Hence, it goes into the fundamentals of how do you kind of keep your transactions or your processing immutable. Yeah, and that's where blockchain comes into picture as a fundamental technology or as a fundamental um, uh, you know uh, data structure, I would call it. I mean, those who are technical, I don't know the audience appetite, but that's where you go. So ideally speaking, it is the way in which you do any processing which cannot be changed without consensus of all the parties, is as simple as that, right? And hence this particular concept could be applied to various industries, various sectors. So for example, if you are into automotive sector, a classic example, I buy a car and then I have to pay insurance, right? And then I have to claim those insurances for possibly no claim bonus or possibly the next subsequent premium that I have to pay. Now, there are cases where in the span of year where I'm holding the car with me and ownership, there could be accidents or whatever it is. That get a complete list and history of what that car went through over a period of time, which is not tampered. Then it becomes very easy for the insurance companies to just go and pay rather than I producing hundreds of documents and trying to justify, hey, I was right or not, etc. Right? The other element, when I extend to it, and I'm taking this example because mostly car is no longer a luxury; it's a everyday affair, right? And the parts that we choose, right? So if tomorrow I want to go and buy buy a Mercedes or something like that, right? And I think about whether I should go for a new brand or possibly a second-hand one, right? Now, when I buy a second-hand automotive, I want to ensure that the parts, etc., that it was serviced are coming from the right OEMs. It is not a secondary gray market kind of a part. So that's where again the service history of that automotive would come into picture. And the same thing applies for the other sectors like retail. So a classic example is fashion retail, right? Um, One of the most important thing is sustainable sourcing and ethical sourcing of the material. So you buy leather goods, right? How do you kind of ensure that it is ethically sourced, right? And how it is a sustainable way of getting that particular, the one, the likes of, you use Chanel or whatever that is, right? How do you ensure that those are ethically sourced? So that's where the enterprises use blockchain, as a technology. And so there are many use cases. And if I look at the sectors, it would be healthcare, it would be pharma, it could be automotive, energy sector, where so there's lots to discuss, and maybe it would take its own time. One very important thing is that the areas are unlimited when it comes to blockchain. Yeah, that's how I would coin it.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Shailesh. I think now we come to know that it's beyond the finance, right? That the blockchain can be used, right? But as a quick win for all the participants, right?
Sure.
Can you just advise on how they can leverage blockchain and help create value in their organizations today?
Sure. And if you, I mean, I would kind of relate back to all the panelists who spoke about the various technologies right now, right? So it's very simplistic way is to look at your current profile, yeah, and whatever you're doing, because like I said, every role can be enhanced in your purview by understanding what blockchain is all about, right? So for example, if I am a business analyst, right, working in my business analyst role or for a particular sector, so maybe I'm, like I said, automotive or retail or whatever it is, right, I can actually learn about blockchain and see how I could kind of enhance that into my professional uh, exercise or my professional role, right? On a similar lines, if I am a developer, it's purely the way I could use that technology to put into my applications, like the Web 5.0, etc. How things could be kind of managed. And if I'm a senior management, right? So I could also kind of propose that in my leadership strategy as to how this could be used for the betterment of the supply chain processes or whatever it is. So every individual in the audience can take advantage of it and kind of leverage it. You need not be technical because blockchain is a way you kind of use it, and like I said, the way you make it immutable. And there is a blockchain council. There are a lot of courses available which are which certify you, so you could start from beginning and go to the next level. That's how I would ask everyone to start who are interested in taking a blockchain as a technology progress.
Thanks a lot, Shailesh. I think very interesting to know that blockchain, and also you gave the participants a path on how they can get started, right, in learning this entire blockchain. Thanks a lot, Shailesh.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so let's move to the next technology, which is robotic process automation, and for which I would invite Purushottam to share his views on this. So, Purushottam, we have seen a lot of industries benefiting from RPA, right? So, can you share some examples of how industries have seen impact, and also how can participants actually begin their journey in this field of RPA, Purushottam?
Right. Thanks for the question, Sunil. It's a very interesting question, right? And RPA, obviously, it's not a new technology or a new industry, right? It's been there for over a decade now. But your question has two parts, right? I will just try to address one by one. So the first thing, what are the top industries benefiting from RPA, right? So if that's the query, right? So RPA has touched all the different industries, right? From manufacturing to pharmaceutical, from engineering to services, from banking to financial services, everything. So wherever we go, RPA is there, right? And the full form of RPA is robotic process automation. However, there is no physical robot as such. It's just a software that does repetitive task. And the humans are supposed to be doing the complex and tedious job in any organization, right? So, and if I talk about domain, the financial accounting domain, your banking domain, your insurance, your travel transportations vertical, healthcare. So RPA is everywhere right now. In last 1 decade, it has touched all the different industries, and each industry is getting driving benefits out of RPA. And at one point of time, there were 3 or 4 RPA providers. Right now, there are hundreds of RPA providers, right? With that scale, we know that there are many industries, and that's the reason there are so many service providers in that space, right? The second part of it, how can participants begin their journey, right, in this field, right? So the first thing is be part of these kind of curriculums, right? The WWRT program, which has been started by Nasscom Foundation, is like great place to start these careers, right? Because sometimes people have no clue what this all about, right? Because somebody in the organization is talking about RPA, somebody talking about automation, somebody talking about reducing something, somebody talking about taking or the job being done by the technology. So people have to start studying, people have to start reading, people have to start getting into webinar, getting into these kind of sessions, because they have a fair understanding of what is this all about, right? Does this excites me? Do I as an individual want to work in this field and be part of that field? Or that's not my cup of tea, right? Because sometimes what we hear might sounds very interesting, but that might not be. I can't be doing everything, right? So that's the best way to start their journey in this field, right? And in case of doubt, they should be asking or reaching out to the leaders, reaching out to the mentors, reaching out to the people whom they trust, so that they can help them and they can guide them to make the decisions so that they can start their journey in the RPA space.
Right.
I hope
Thanks.
I have
Yeah,
responded.
you did. Yeah, thanks, Purushottam. So just a follow-up question, Purushottam. So can you briefly talk about the role of RPA in scaling business operations efficiently? And secondly, how can the participants, kind of succeed in the program curriculum as it exists today, Purushottam?
Sure. So again, two parts to the question, right? So when we say RPA scaling business operations, right? So when we say so any business operations has a cost of operations, right? So if there is a services unit that is operating from Gurgaon, there will be different operating cost or which will be added together to accumulate the cost of operation, right? So when I say RPA is going to be a software which has a license cost, right? So that license cost, I can use it 24 hours if all the different applications are running, right? If I have to do the same job by human, I have to get 3 people to get the coverage for 24 hours. But in an RPA, if I'm using or if I move from human to an RPA, I can just use one license 24/7 and keep leveraging it, right? So my cost of operations goes down. That's the best example of how RPA is helping people doing their business effectively, right? And because it's all the manual task which has been taken care by the RPA, humans are only bound to do the decision-making task, where RPA is not able to make decisions where people because RPA is only repetitive task. RPA will not take any decisions, right? RPA is all rule-based. RPA is all 1 and 0. If it's true, if it's gray, then we need to manual, right? So all business can benefit from RPA. That's a rule, right? Every process, everybody needs to understand the process and then look into it and see how can they use RPA to effectively get the benefit out of it, right? And the second part is how does the curriculum benefits participant, right? So because I've been mentor for almost since the beginning of this program, right? And I know that the people who are doing are part of this program benefits a lot, because this course is not for somebody who understands RPA. This starts right from a beginning level and takes to the advanced level, right? And it talks about from basic things what RPA is all about, how can people learn about it, what are the different ways to learn about it, what are the different technologies, and because it explains everything in detail. So anybody who is joining this program, right, will get benefit out of it, because and I've seen people from HR domain, I've seen people from procurement, I've seen people from finance, each different domain joining this program and getting benefit out of it.
Right. Thank you for sharing, Purushottam. I think one very important point that you mentioned, that the human in the loop, because while you use RPA to do all kind of automate all the repetitive tasks, at the end of the day you need the human creativity, you need the human to come into the action to make the right decision. So thank you so much, Purushottam, for sharing.
Thanks for it. Thank you.
Surya, I think just before you go in, and while Purushottam is here, I just wanted to step in and one is to apologize that I forgot to introduce Purushottam at the beginning of during the introductions. Just for all the audience who are here, Purushottam has been with us from the inception of the program. That's about 5 years. He's also the General Manager, Digital Transformation, Customer Consulting, and Global IT Services Delivery at IGT Solutions. He comes with over 23 years of experience and has been an integral part of our program. My sincere apologies that I forgot to introduce you, Purushottam.
No worries, right? No worries.
These insights are extremely, extremely helpful, and the kind of quality that you bring, not just on this conversation, but also on the program for the last 5 years has been outstanding. So my sincere apologies. Over to you, Surya.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks, Roy.
Yeah. I think I'll probably ask Sunil later, but Sunil, I'll give you an opportunity for you to go on to the big data, so that and then I can come back to you on the last part is the IoT. Yeah. Sunil, yeah.
Yes, sorry. Okay, so let's look at big data analytics, and for which I would request Vivek to share his insights. So They keep there this cliche which says data is the new oil. And of course, you still need to refine that oil, right, Vivek? So today, how are companies and industries, how are they leveraging the power of big data to make informed decisions and to really drive business growth, which is most important?
Correct. Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me on. As you said, it is cliche that the data is a new oil because I feel data is older than fossilized dinosaurs. And, we've been leveraging data for centuries in all aspects of life. What's probably changed is the ability to generate data has become a lot more easier. So if I take a simple example for most of us, and I'm probably aging myself, as a kid, my dad would have this camera with a roll, and you generally have a 32 picture roll, and the first and the last one is very dodgy. So you usually assume that you can get 28 good pictures, and everyone would be very focused on getting that picture right. Now, if you get into any mobile phone and any photo gallery, you'll have 15 pictures of the same thing taken 15 times because it's like, hey, it doesn't cost much to generate this data. Let me put it in. One of them is going to be right. And you never really dump them. And I always keep on wondering, why does my Google memory keep on running out of space? Right. So the way we have started generating data at an individual level has gone up quadruple times. Expand that, multiply that by organizations, people, and the world at large. There's massive volumes of data available, but the data is only as valuable as the insights that you can pull out of it. And that's where big data analytics ends up playing such a big role. And again, because it's such a big domain, oftentimes people ask me that how can I be an expert in big data analytics? I'm like, I don't have the answer to that one yet, because there are so many subdomains in it that you can build your expertise in even one of them and you're making massive impact. Just listening through the last, I would say it's about 65 minutes of the conversation that we have had. One thing I did note was every panelist brought in the word data into their conversation, just implying the impact data has across verticals. So I'm not going to get into the use cases of data because I think we've heard that so far it's being applied everywhere. But in that domain, how do we make more sense out of it? There's lots of parts to it, right? So one is the generation of data that we spoke about. Again, in general terminology, there is garbage in, garbage out. So someone needs to make sure that the data is cleansed, governed, it is appropriate, and it is valid. So that's another domain in itself. Now there's an entire engineering component to handling such volumes of data. Are you going to deal with the data in a real-time basis? So, like your quick service companies, they are literally pulling in that data as you go through sites, giving you recommendations. There is dynamic pricing that's at play. The moment you go into the checkout counter, it's like, hey, by the way, you forgot to add this, this, and this based on your previous preferences, right? So there's so much data that they've collected about you that they are helping you with your journey. And in some cases, even providing you insights which you might have forgotten about. Birthday reminders, anniversary reminders is another great way of how data is helping a lot of people have happy households. So with keeping all of that in mind, how do you generate the data, store the data, retrieve the data for that? That is the baseline. Then you have, how do you generate insights of this data? So I can get all the data, but if I don't know the meaning of that data, it doesn't mean anything. If someone says, build roads and connect all the cities in the world, I could do that. But if I don't know that, Moscow and Beijing are X distances away, are different countries, and there's a lot more technicalities involved in actually doing that, I will not be able to add value to highlighting how I'm using that data. So having that context of the data is very important. So for a lot of people who come into the data domain and say, is it so engineering heavy? Do I need to have a technical background alone to make any impact here? That's where I disagree. There are various roles in the big data analytics domain where it is, a data product manager. Do you understand the data and how it can be leveraged? Data visualizations, right? How do I get the story I want to tell out of data? Because that's the beauty of data. It tells the story that you wanted to tell. And it's a story that everyone can understand because data is atomic from that aspect. Obviously, cherry picking can also lead to other side effects, but that's another story in itself. So you have visualization experts, you have data product managers, you have data analysts, you have business analysts. Everyone is using the data in efficient ways to get to different outcomes. A lot of these do not require technical backgrounds. It is the ability to understand the essence of the data and, more importantly, understand the business outcome you want to drive and how data can support it. But along with the proliferation of data that has happened, a lot of times data is generated without our consent or with our consent. And I think that becomes another very important domain about data privacy, data protection. A lot of the frauds that we were talking about is usually impersonation threats, which come out from the access of our data, whether it's our biometrics data or any other important data points that we have that uniquely identify us from a security standpoint. And you've seen that that domain has also drastically and dynamically changed because people are getting more tools to be able to impersonate, and hence we need more stringent ways of being able to protect the same. And hence that's again another domain itself. Data, the volumes of data that are available, that need to be processed, the data centers that are out there, the processing power, AI, ML, all these other concepts where we say use the data, process it, and do. That is taking a lot of compute away, which requires a lot of resources, and hence there's a completely new difference, a domain of sustainability in data.
Right.
So if I
Right.
just look at the wide, like it's a wide range, and I just want to give people that breadth so that, I know we have an audience which is very diverse from non-technical to technical and in different domains. I think data has something for you from every aspect.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing, Vivek. I like the way you shared the quick commerce example, because you need a lot of data to be able to deliver something in 10 minutes. A lot of technology behind which will allow you to do that, right? So my next question to you, Vivek, is how are the sessions in the phase 2 of the W2RT program helping participants stay competitive in the field of big data analytics?
Yeah, no, I think this is a great platform for resource sharing. Obviously, I have been a mentor in this program, and while people say that, hey, you have been giving insights, I've also been taking in insights. It's always a two-way conversation that happens here. And I think having that ability to be on a platform where you have like-minded people sitting with you and discussing about various resources that are available, whether they're online or offline, use cases and how data can be used in creative manners, and the different profiles at play. I think if people can take the time out, invest, spend time on the resources available on the platform, the various webinars that happen and the cohort groups that catch up, I think you can glean a lot of data insights on how you can use data to improve your lives and the lives of people around you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vivek.
Yeah, I think Sunil, I think my next topic is actually on the IoT, right? You are an expert in the IoT. And when it comes to IoT, I always keep thinking about these connected cars, these smart homes, right? So based on that, I just want to ask you about IoT typically connects, right, the digital and the physical world seamlessly. Okay. So can you just highlight how IoT is able to create both business and the society impact, and what are the key trends that you are actually seeing today in the IoT space?
Thank you for that question, Surya. So IoT is a very, very important constituent of any digital transformation solution and the heart of any digital transformation initiative, because trying to extract data from the physical world is not so easy. You need, of course, sensors to collect data from the physical world. And then, of course, you're going to send that data through a network, goes to a cloud platform, analyze it, and then you want to integrate it with the backend systems, right? So the more important thing, Surya, is that it's just not enough to extract data from any physical asset in terms of its condition, location, attributes, and so on. The important thing is to add context to the data, for which we need to connect to different data sources. And then from the insights that you get from the data, you want to make the right decisions, right? So adding context to data is going to be very critical from an IoT standpoint. And there are enough and more industries which are today really leveraging the power of IoT to see impact. And one example is manufacturing, whether whether it is monitoring of their machines in the shop floor, whether it is determining quality, whether it is to managing supply chain, and there are assets which are there in the shop floor which needs to be optimized in terms of the usage. In all these areas, pretty much IoT is playing a big part. Second thing is in supply chain, whether you look at e-commerce, whether you look at manufacturing, you got to really have a good visibility of your supply chain. Raw materials are coming in, finished goods going out. So the whole traceability, when you look at supply chain, especially in today's times, when supply chains are disrupted due to external factors. So the need for any enterprise to really have a good understanding of how the supply chain is functioning, IoT is always going to be at the heart of any solution there. And then, of course, in the area of healthcare, Roopa briefly talked about AI impact, but IoT also a simple example like wearables that will track the vitals of your of a human body. That is nothing but an IoT device that is sending data about yourself, about your vitals. Then, of course, in hospitals and clinics, you have very expensive medical equipment, so you can use IoT to monitor all of that stuff. So from a business standpoint, whether you look at manufacturing, retail, healthcare, enough and more examples where IoT is really helping get value for organizations. Now, coming to societal impact, Surya, today, as you know, climate change is a big challenge. How do you manage carbon emissions? How do you optimize resources that you have today? Whether it is optimizing energy, whether it is managing your waste or optimizing water usage, pretty much all these areas. So if you talk from an industry standpoint, most organizations have their ESG goals, environmental, social, and governance goals, and the E part of the ESG. How do you manage your energy, thereby lowering your carbon emissions? Again, IoT is playing a big part because you got to measure how much of energy that you're consuming, and after which you can optimize energy usage, optimizing use of water. Today, there are technologies where you can convert waste into a biofuel. Again, IoT plays a big part there. So again, smart cities, a lot of examples, whether it's smart lighting, smart garbage management, and so on. Enough and more examples there. Now, quickly talking about trends, Surya, 2 or 3 trends that I want to call out very quickly. Number one, we are clearly seeing this whole convergence playing out between IoT and AI. Because it's just not enough to get data from the physical world, right? You got to analyze it, and you want to be able to make the right decisions. You want to get to predict future outcomes and so on. So we're clearly seeing this whole convergence between IoT and AI playing out. Second thing that we are seeing is that 5G, which is a high-speed, low-latency network, which was introduced in India about 2.5 years back. We were one of the last to really adopt 5G, but the rollout in India has been very, very quick compared to most developed nations. And 5G, because of its very characteristics, is triggering a lot of IoT adoption because of its high latency, low latency, high connection density, and so on. Third, what we are clearly seeing is the cost of IoT devices are getting much, much lower today. There are schemes from the government to make IoT devices in India. You can pack a lot more transistors in a chip today, right? So the whole miniaturization that you talk about, we're seeing that playing out. And last and most importantly, Surya, is that we're seeing this whole concept of edge, where you want to have the IoT device closer to where the data is being generated from, and you can actually apply AI on edge so that you can respond faster to any real-time events. So broadly, these are some of the trends that we're seeing playing out, Surya, from an IoT standpoint.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Sunil, because the LG car, the logo, it says Internet Insights. Probably they have to change it saying Internet Everywhere, right? With the
yes,
kind
absolutely.
of trend that you're seeing. So coming back to the next question, typically for the audience here, right? What are the kind of entrepreneurial and career opportunities that you foresee for IoT professionals in the next 5 years, right? And how does this entire current program, the WWRT program, right, lay the foundation to prepare them for a successful future?
Right, Surya. So I wanted to, before I answer the question quick, I wanted to share one insight from a report that came out very recently. This is from a market researcher called IoT Analytics, which is based in Europe. And they came out with this report called State of IoT Summer 2024, released last year. And they are estimating that we'll have 40 billion IoT devices by 2030 across the world. 40 billion. I'm talking about IoT devices, which is connecting to all the physical assets, right? In India, the opportunity is huge because they just kind of scratch the surface. A lot of enterprises at a very early stage of adopting of IoT. And from a career standpoint, there are two parts to it, Surya. So one is on the hardware side, there's a lot of incentive from the government, as I mentioned, through the PLI scheme to make hardware in India. Many large conglomerates are wanting to make semiconductor chips here. microcontrollers, modules, and memory and storage devices, because a lot of that is imported. And there's a lot of opportunity for those who want to really work in the hardware space, especially when you look at VLSI, very large system, it's large scale system integration. So, so a lot of opportunity in the IoT hardware space by you need to engineer the hardware, programming the microcontrollers properly, and so on and so forth. Then the roles within enterprises who consume IoT, they need IoT specialists to design the whole IoT solution, connect to the operational technology environment, seamlessly integrate to cloud. So there are roles within an enterprise, and there are a lot of system integrators, niche IoT players, a lot of IoT startups who are providing solutions to enterprise customers. And there, the need for them to understand how IoT works, because IoT is just part of the whole solution. You have the network, you have the cloud, you have all of this which needs to come together. So any participant would really need to have a good, deep understanding of IoT, but also a high level of understanding of all other technologies to be able to put together solutions. And I think the program today is very well designed for the participants to really understand the fundamentals of IoT, because you need to get your fundamentals strong before you can start building on the foundation to really go deep, whether it is in the area of IoT software or whether it is in the area of IoT hardware. Thank you, Surya.
Thanks a lot, Sunil, for your insights. I think for all the participants, there is a Q&A window. I think they can actually key in their questions. And we are also going to open up the live Q&A session now. But before picking up any of the questions, I would like to probably give you one live example. Roopa, who was actually the panelist who spoke about AI, right? She actually utilized this program at the beginning and then moved on to the AI. And probably, Roopa, I think I would like to ask you a quick question for you, like share your experience on how you went about utilizing this program.
Thanks, Surya, for this question. So I had a great experience with the W2RT program cohort. I was a part of cohort 3. I took IoT as a specialization. So I had been working in the AI/ML quite some time, but wanted to do specialization in the IoT. So for this, I opted for both phase 1 and phase 2, where in phase 1, I got to know all the details about all the emerging technologies. And in the phase 2, Sunil was my mentor. The program really offers extensive training and mentorship, helping participants stay relevant with the latest skills and technologies. Along with this, like Sunil actually facilitated me to visit an IoT startup. And this experience, it deepened my understanding of the IoT and also boosted my confidence. Basically, it allowed me to apply this knowledge in my professional work. So it's based on both the hands-on learning as well as the mentorship, and both of them were truly transformative. Since completing this program, I have been able to take on to new projects and achieve some great results. So I really, vouch for this program, and it has helped me to advance in the career and take on to the more leadership roles, especially in the IoT field. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Roopa. I think now the window is actually open for the live Q&A. So my request to all participants to raise their hands, and then we will unmute you, and you can ask the questions to any of the panelists here.
Yeah, we already have a bunch of questions already come in, Surya. I'll probably pick from there. And okay, I think there's an anonymous attendee asking, I'm from a non-IT background. I've just joined this program to learn about technologies and market. Therefore, my question is, where should I start to learn these technologies practically from base to advanced level? So I don't know, any of you could pick this, or I
can take a shot at that, right? So the Nasscom Foundation's sessions that are getting conducted, right, on all these 7 emerging technologies provides the foundation and then takes you through the journey for the advanced learning, right? Specifically on the cybersecurity side, I'll say that take baby steps first, try to get an understanding what you are getting into, what is cybersecurity all about. And then there are like a lot of open learning opportunities, and I'm sure that across all the 7 technologies there are like freely available lot of content that you can embrace and kind of learn about it. Remember, when you're already working for an organization, there is an opportunity to kind of understand the current organizational need, be it on the cybersecurity side or AI side or any of the 7 emerging technologies. Try to see what are they working on and how things are moving on, right? So that could also be an opportunity. But Nasscom Foundation WWRT program is already providing you the ability to learn more about all these technology, and that should be the starting point. That's what I'll recommend. Anybody else wants to give a shot, please go ahead.
Thanks, Sandeep. And I see, I think that was nicely laid out. I also see Jaya, who's put her hands up. So I'm going to allow Jaya to speak. Jaya, you can unmute and ask your question if you'd like to.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you for this panel. Much awaited after a long time, right? So my question is to Mr. Purushottam. I think he covered the RPA part of the discussion. I have also put it in the chat, right? So if you look at the traditional RPA, where it is more of a rule-based decision, we have progressed a lot from there, right, to in the AI world, right, where we talk a lot about generative AI, and now the buzzword is agentic AI, right? So where the AI itself is enabled to make certain decision in a typical workflow and from an approval standpoint, right? So in the light of this, how do you think our traditional RPA will shape up? What could be the future of traditional RPA? Just wanted to pick up your thoughts on that, Purushottam.
Right, Jay, I think I responded on the Q&A also, right? Because RPA, when it started, it used to be in a very native state, right? But over the decade, it has evolved. There is a lot many different rules, different changes that AI is or the RPA has gone through, right? So in starting, it was only RPA, then it became intelligent automation processing, then it's like RPA with AI right now. Then we also have Gen AI, which is embedded in the RPA. So with all these evolution in the different part of AI, right? So RPA is like as we as a human are very adaptive, right? So RPA is very adaptive way of technology, right? It is able to adopt everything, change itself, and then start evolving, right? So my the way I see it is, yes, the traditional RPA still be there. There will be an RPA which will make decisions also, right? But will it make all the complex decisions? Might not be.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Purushottam. Over to you, Roy.
So I see another question. I think this would be directed to Sandeep. It's on cybersecurity. Kiran Kumari is saying, thank you for bringing the data privacy. Many times I feel that I'm being monitored constantly as I browse through internet, and I get recommendations all throughout based on my browsing, which I may not need. It is very, very annoying at times. And most times in these emerging technologies, we talk in terms of business. How do we apply this on a personal front, specifically cybersecurity? How can I apply the cybersecurity on personal front to safeguard my data privacy?
Sure. So when it comes to the personal front, right, whatever we are doing on our browser, for sure it's getting tracked and monitored, but it's not getting tracked at a personal level that organizations know that what exactly you are doing. They put subtle hints on your browser, more of a cookie in your browser, and that cookie gives them insights on what are you really looking for. You are interested in booking a flight ticket for so and so destination, right? So that all information lies at your end, and finally they anonymously track it out, and through certain IDs that are deployed in your system, they can map back that to you. But if you ask them that personally, can they pinpoint what were you really doing? Most of the organizations or the e-commerce websites or any of the online websites would not be doing that. I mean, they do have the ability to do that, but most of them will not do that out. My recommendation would be that do not keep signing for any random solution that is coming up, which is offering a lot of things. Because personally, I have seen when I talk to them on the data protection, right, how are they keeping the data? They're not keeping the data safe, right? And at the same time, even our government has to put forward regulations more strictly across the different players that we have, be it in the financial industry, be it in the insurance or the investment side, to ensure that we are following our data practices properly. Like even for signing up for a demat account today, people will ask that, hey, write your email address in a mail, attach a PAN card, and send it to me over email, even though it's an official email. But all those are not aligned with the data security policies, right? So it's staying aware and pushing back and not sharing the data. Say that I want an interactive system where I can share all these details, and at the same time, the regulatory bodies have to ensure that the subtle care is taken by the big players that we have. So my recommendation would be, do not blindly accept cookies on any website that is saying that, hey, I want to accept cookies. Start using incognito browser wherever you feel a little bit insecure that you might be getting tracked, right? So incognito browsing would kind of not enable them to track you, right? And have security solutions deployed. Make sure that you're reviewing the privacy policies and what all you are accepting to when you're installing any app on your system. Do not give unnecessary permission, right? If you're downloading, say, a text editor, why does it really require permission to read your gallery unless there is a real need, right? So all those kind of subtle changes you should be making in your online browsing that you're doing today.
Brilliant. And there's another question from Shailesh. I think Sunil, I think either you or Shailesh could look at this. The question is, I'm from automation testing background, wanted to know how to implement IoT and blockchain. Does it require coding skills or domain knowledge?
Yeah, so if your IoT and blockchain is a very good combination to implement, especially when you're looking at use cases around traceability. Now, if you're wanting to build an IoT hardware for a specific use case, then yes, you have to program the hardware, and you need to, for example, have some basic understanding of Python or C or C++ to program the microcontroller, which is the heart of an IoT device, right? So to that extent, yes, you need to have some amount of coding skills, but thereafter it is all on you have to go have a good understanding of the domain and of course the applications, and also to make sure that you engineer the hardware correctly, right? So you need a big combination of both coding, not very deep, but definitely embedded systems knowledge, understanding of what kind of network is best suited for that use case, and of course, fundamental understanding of blockchain, be able to design and architect the solution.
Great. I think we're almost on time. I know there are a bunch of questions. We can always get back to the participants on that. I would love to close this session on time, and I know that we all panelists sort of stuck to the time, and we were able to bring in all our thoughts together. But once again, to Sunil, Surya, thank you so much for moderating this session extremely well. Purushottam, Roopa, Sandeep, Shailesh, Sudha, and Vivek, thank you so much for doing this session. And the whole idea of us bringing this session together was to make informed choices about choosing careers in technology. We often get asked, we all want to transition into technology, but we're not sure what to choose, what to pick, what is emerging, what is in demand. And I think that's exactly what you all summarized today, trying to break down technology in simple words, simple terms, and, for especially women, who are part of this particular program, to be able to make informed choices and decisions. And thank you so much for doing this. And for all the participants, whoever is on the call today, you all can, some of you are already part of the program, some of you are not. But if you would like to be a part of the program, please reach out to us. The email ID is wwrt@nasscomfoundation.org. We had also put it up on the slide earlier. We will also be sharing this recording on LinkedIn and YouTube, so you can always go back and refer to this. We would also recommend all of you talk about this program, share this with your friends, colleagues, anybody, this particular program is specifically for women, working women who would like to upskill themselves in technology. We would be more than happy to connect with them and onboard them. This is extremely subsidized. Also, it's not a money-making gig for Nasscom Foundation. It is more about bridging the representation of women in the workplace. And similarly, there are some really amazing programs that we would be launching very soon for working persons with disabilities and working people from the LGBTQI community. It's going to be called Ability in Tech and Career in Tech. You'll start hearing from us on those programs. For today, that's all we have. The inception of this program was after a study that Nasscom did, understanding the representation of gender in the tech industry. Right? While we all understand when we move up the ladder, the representation of women is extremely low, and at this point it's less than 9% in India. And the idea was to see how can we all come together in a strategic place where we are as an organization to be able to bring the industry together and be able to upskill women, right? And that's how it started. It started as a small cohort of many organizations together, various mentors like yourselves coming on pro bono basis and focusing on the most in-demand technology and being able to give back to the working women in the IT industry. And this also is regardless of the hierarchy, right? You could be a senior leader, you could be a frontline, technician or, whatever role that you're in, or even in mid management. We all come together to be able to upskill and then learn about how these technologies are applied in real life. And that's where the inception was. And I think we've come a long way this is the 5th year of the program. We've upskilled over 14,600 women, and also 60% of the women who've been a part of the program have moved into the next job role. And it's also a very strong reason for us to do this from the perspective of social inclusion, of how do we include more women in the leadership. And that's been our aim. We've done this for 5 years, and we're looking forward to deep dive more into these programs, sort of expand various things. And it's just not technical, right? I mean, we as much as we focus on the tech, there's also a new element of professional life skills, which goes hand in hand, right? So we've sort of equipped all of that into one program. And so that's where the inception was.